Hello and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I am Michael Gracia, and boy, do I have a fun show tonight. It's a little different than what I've done in the past because tonight, not only will I be chatting with a fellow artist here and fellow creator, I will be also live drawing along with him. It's almost like a drink and draw if we're drinking, but I got water with me. I don't know what he's got. It'll be a fun time, and this guy has a pretty cool background, and he's a co-creator of something really fun that I've been following for a little bit, but unfortunately haven't been able to participate in. It's called JUNETOON, and he's going to explain exactly what that is when he comes on. But he's also the artist on the strip I Hate My Kids. He has, let me just get the right words here. He's worked on a book called Fleischer, The Group, and The Show. Let's bring on Harold George. Hi, Harold. Hey. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Doing
Thanks
very
for having
good.
me, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I really appreciate being able to come on. I also want to tell people before we get into it that they can follow you at Harrow Artist on Instagram, yes. And hashtag JUNETOON is something you co-created.
Yes.
Before we get into you as a person, as your art, so people understand, just give them a little gist, because we'll talk more about it later. What is JUNETOON?
So you've heard of Inktober.
Yes.
And you've heard of all these other challenges, art challenges on Instagram and on a lot of platforms out there. So I jumped on the bandwagon of the Inktober one time, and I said, this is pretty fun. But I wanted to do something different. I love cartoons. I've loved cartoons ever since I was a kid. I watched them. Even as an adult, I watched them. My wife is like, you're watching cartoons?
I do it every day still, so.
I wanted to do something fun for the month of, any month actually. We didn't really have an idea which month we were going to land on, but the fact that tune rhymes with June, we said, let's pick June. So it's another art challenge. That all it is, it's an art challenge in which you get to draw any of your favorite cartoons, whether it's from childhood, whether it's any cartoons that you watch now, anime, anything that has to do with you tapping into that inner child and loving cartoons like the way I do. That's all it is. And you just have fun with it the entire month. We set up a series of prompts for each day in case you don't know what to draw. Some people do, some people use it, some people don't. And you don't have to.
And right now, this is your prompt list.
Yeah, so every year.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every year we come up with a list like that. I get together with the other two guys, which is Omar and Adam. And we come up with this list, and we try to make it as diverse as possible, but we try to cover a lot of the bases, and you'll be surprised the creative and the crazy cool stuff that people come up with. Sometimes I'm like, dang, I should have drawn that. So it gets really intense, and it's fun. It's fun to watch all the artists that participate. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. I'm hoping to participate at some point this month. My schedule doesn't allow me, unfortunately, to usually participate in these type of things, although I do love them. And today is the 8th day, so it's funny.
It's funny, yes.
Is the topic. Or I could even think about, because I'm going to live draw with you today, too. And I could even do tomorrow's if I wanted to, or just pick anything from out of the month.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's those prompts, and I tell anyone who asks the questions, those prompts, they're useful, but they're only there to guide you. They're not like law. You don't have to follow them. It's fun to follow them to see what you come up with, but you don't really necessarily have to go just right through it and say, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. So don't stress yourself out. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. I'm actually looking up some reference right now. That's
fine. That's fine.
Because I have a character I'm thinking of drawing for funny, but I haven't drawn him in a while, so I need to look at him.
I was thinking of drawing Doug funny, and have him like the
Okay.
Joker or something. But then I was like, no, and I switched it up in my head so many times. And today, what did I? Yeah, I did. Instead of Ren and Stimpy, I did Ben 10 and Stimpy.
Yes. Yes, I saw
So
that. It's a very nice piece.
thank you, thank you. One of the cool things is in doing this is I got the opportunity to reach out to different companies that mostly art supplies and anything related to art. And I think one of the companies that kind of responded and said, "Hey, yeah, we'll do it." It's I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Faber-Castell. That's how I pronounce it. How do
Yeah.
you pronounce it? Faber? Some people say
I've always said
Faber.
Faber, but I always say Castell. Is it Faber,
Castell.
Faber? I don't know.
I do not know because I've never really heard anyone else say it. So, but yeah, they've been great. Last year they signed up with us and they did some giveaways. So every week, some lucky artists. Unfortunately, it's just in the USA right now, but some lucky artist in the US gets some cool art supplies, which is amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about somebody because you got some pretty cool sponsors and Faber, however you want to say it, is to me the biggest one, which is great, and I own a ton of their supplies. I love what they make.
Yeah, I love their stuff too. I think I have a few things that I'm loyal to that particular pen or pencil.
Yeah, I'm not able to reach over and grab anything. I'm in my digital area right now. I have my drawing table actually. Well, I keep my glass of water on my drawing table. That's how close it is.
Yeah.
But all the supplies are at the other end because I'm right-handed, so I can pick it up with my left hand and just throw it in my right hand. You know, it's just I don't know, it's the way I work. But so anyway, let's get into drawing. You can start drawing. I'll draw in a few minutes.
Okay.
And I'll put up on the screen what you're working on. This is your next strip for I Hate My Kids.
Yeah, this is tomorrow's strip. I'm working on it now when I should have been working on it yesterday so I can have more time. But, you know, time constraints, things you got to do, things you can't do. So here I am.
Yeah, I get you. Do you, so, you know, before we get into like everything that you've done, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get started into cartooning and comics and animation or just whatever,
Right,
you know,
well,
whatever it was?
I've always drawn. I mean, I've been drawing since I was little, so it wasn't really hard for me. When I was little, I did want to be a doctor, but I said nope. I gotta enjoy art too much. I enjoy cartoons, and when I was in New York, when I lived in New York, I decided to go to art school. After going to community college a few times, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I said, you know what? This is what I really want to do. So I went to art school, got my degree there in basic illustration. And the school, they taught you how to survive out there because, you know, it's very competitive. So they gave you the tools to kind of pretty much broaden your artistic branches, or however you want to say that.
Yeah. What art school, if you don't mind me asking?
FIT.
FIT. Okay. I had friends I actually have friends that teach there right now. I've had friends that went there, and I got my bachelor's from a school called Empire State College, which is a independent study school, and one of my teachers was Dick Rockwell, who taught like cartooning over there.
Oh, nice.
And he worked on the Steve Canyon strip back in the 80s. And when who was it? It was Kniff, I think, did Steve Canyon. When he passed away, he just finished up the last of the strips before the strip retired. He finished up the story arc. I remember seeing some cool stuff going to his house when I was learning from him.
What I loved about, and I'm sure a lot of art schools have the same programs, but that a lot of the instructors, because they would be adamant about being called that. A lot of the instructors were also out in the field. So this was kind of like their other job, if you may.
Yeah.
They still got
exactly.
Stuff, which is, it was one of those inspiring things. Like, wow, you do this and that. Yeah. So that's how I got into art. I landed in a graphic design where I was designing magazines and newspapers and things like that, which I'm still doing. And it pays the bills on a daily basis. You know, it's a steady paycheck. But
And that's always
drawing,
important.
yes, especially when you have a family.
Yes.
But drawing has always been a passion of mine, and I wanted to keep it going. Honestly, I think if I die, I'm gonna die with a drawing pencil in my hand.
Yeah, that's how I feel I'm going. I do you know something? I can literally spend 14 hours in my studio working, whether I'm drawing, animating, whatever it is, any freelance, 14 hours. I go out to sit on my couch to relax. I bring my drawing pad with me.
Well, we're on the same boat because I do the same thing. And honestly, it's, for me at least, now it's become a relaxing thing. Like,
yeah,
I need to do it at least once a day, and
yeah.
it calms me down. It makes me forget any weird stress that I'm feeling, and this goes in June is even better because now I have to do it.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. Who were some of the, since you liked cartoons and comic stuff as a kid, what were some of the ones you liked? What were some of your favorites that really inspired you, that you drew, maybe?
When I was growing up, I was introduced to comics by my neighbor. He just had a bunch of comics he was throwing out. Hey, I don't want them. And I'll say, oh, these are cartoons, cool. And didn't see comics before, at least not like Marvel or any of those. Yeah, he showed me those. He just gave them to me. He said, I'm throwing them out, so if you want them, because he knew I could draw, or that I liked drawing, so he gave them to me. And I was like, wow, these are cool. Then every week or so, I'd ask my mom for like 75 cents to go to the grocery store, because they had like a little comic book rack, and I'd just be like, oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
When I first started collecting them, I remember it was that dream team of Marvel, where Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, that team of artists.
Basically all the Image guys.
Pretty much, yes. And then they branched off to Image, exactly. So those were my first inspiration as far as trying to draw comics. And every day I would try my best to draw a comic book. Let me see. Let me draw a character. Oh, and we had characters growing up. I had a few friends in New York where we would draw just ourselves as superheroes. Actually, the show comic, it's just self-published, one issue right now.
Okay.
But that comes from a culmination of all those ideas that me and my buddies had when we were younger. We would draw each other, and we sat down as adults and said, you know what, let's make this into something, because I'm tired of dreaming about this and that. Let's just do it. And so I got them together, and we pretty much published one. Now I'm working on some other stuff. But again, time, it's like a one-man show nowadays.
That's the problem with a lot,
And the time constraint. Like if I could clone myself, that'd be good.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling. If there were like two more of me, so much more work would get done. I was just going through making a list of everything I want to do in the next couple of years. And
so you're setting your goals.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, hold on. Before I just want to go to the comments. Joe Ryan says I'm the same way, Michael Rossi. I think he's talking about, because he says even when I'm really relaxed, I'm drawing. So I guess he's talking about what we do. But and what I was doing, I'm getting ready to do a webcomic. I've drawn a few pages of it already. The goal is to have it done like at least fully inked and half colored by September, so I can just color.
Ooh, okay.
Because November, I want to release it in September, but in November, I want to do that. What is it? That NaNWO, however you say it, that National Writers thing. And I have a book I've been writing, and I'm like maybe 2 or 3 chapters in, but I never finished it. So I'm like, I want to take that.
What is that one?
November, it's a national writing, event, and like they try to get you for the whole month of November to write like 10,000 words. So you can upload to a thing to this service no one can read it but you, but there's people cheering you on and stuff and helping you out.
Oh,
not
that's
like
cool.
not like helping you like writing, unless you want to talk to them about what you're doing.
Right.
But it's like a community to help people write like prose stuff.
So
So
like the JUNETOON community, right?
yeah, exactly. So like I really want to, like, my goal is to finish this book this year. So I'm like, well, if I could finish everything and start putting the book out, the webcomic out in September, and have it finished before November with colors and everything, then I can spend November finishing my book.
Okay.
And then January, not, you know, when January comes, I got another book I want to do. But in the meantime, I'll be taking my time with that one. And in the meantime, I have a couple of animations I'm going to start slowly producing. The goal is to have one animation done by the end of the year. A short, like a 3-minute short. I know it seems like a lot, but I can, as long as I have a schedule, I can do it.
I'm thinking of the time frame and like just comparing it to the stuff that I have to do. And I'm like, wow, I don't know how you're doing it, but.
Well, like I said, as long as I can keep the schedule that I've given myself, I'll get it done. If stuff happens where I can't keep the schedule, then that's where it goes. Look, I'm not one of those things where it's like, if it's not done, I failed or something. It's like,
okay,
I've got to, for me, I've got to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's really just, I want to produce, and I know no one's going to make the stuff but me that I want to produce. So I try to give myself some deadlines, and if I can't meet it, I don't kick myself for it unless I didn't meet it because I was lazy.
Right.
You know, if I didn't meet it because, oh, you know what, I had a job that's paying my bills, or hey, I got sick for a week and I lost a week of work because I couldn't get out of bed. Those are things I don't hold against myself.
Yeah.
You know,
if you were just slacking for the sake of slacking.
Yeah, then that's where I hold it. So I give myself, you know, I give myself a lot of leeway with things because I'm lazy. But no, but seriously, I like to be able to be like, here's what I'm going to do, and I know if I have something written down and giving myself a deadline, I'm like, oh, I'll get it done because I don't want to. I'm trained to meet deadlines.
Right.
You know, so it's like, why would I miss a deadline I gave to myself?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's like, wait a minute, I gave myself.
I gave myself a deadline. I can't even do something for myself. How am I supposed to meet my clients' deadlines? You know, so in my head, it's something that kind of pushes me. You know, but yeah. So what? So you said you mentioning you were into cartoons. What cartoons did you like? Whether growing up or today?
Growing up, Thundercats was one of my favorites. Silverhawks, all those cartoons that kind of look the same. Like
are you if you don't mind me asking, so you're a child basically of the 80s then?
Yes.
Okay, you're like me. I was born in 76. I'm 45, so I was the 80s were my childhood. The 90s were my teens. You know.
Yes, that's the same here. Cartoons cartoons so forgotten that I ask people, they don't remember. It's people my age, like Turbo Teen. Do you remember that?
I remember Turbo Teen. If you listen, I'll give you a challenge right now. It is rare I do not know a cartoon. Ask me about a cartoon that you think is hard.
Okay, Tiger Sharks.
Tiger Sharks?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, Mighty Orbots.
Of course, I've seen that.
Oh, man,
no, that's the GoBots one. But Orbots, I know. Yeah.
Pole Position.
Pole Position, I remember.
Okay.
That was the racing car. It was based off the video game.
Yeah. Yes. Damn, now you got me stumped because I'm trying to.
I mean, how about like Rubik's and the Amazing Cube?
Yes,
Rubik's. You know?
What about Inhumanoids?
Inhumanoids. They had Saturday Supercade, which had Frogger, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., you know, Pitfall, and all those.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man had his own series. It's funny. I'll look at Pac-Man and I'll think to my head like they had that. It was the theme song where you go Pac-Man, and I just walk around sometimes doing that when Pac-Man pops into my head.
People don't look at you weird. So what is wrong with that guy?
Yeah, no, I loved all those things. Like I watched everything as a child.
Yeah.
It is the only ones I don't know are outside of like Danger Mouse and maybe what was that, Banana Man. I don't know like any British or many European.
Oh yeah, like a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff flew over my head back in the days.
Really?
Because I'm gonna say some of it because I didn't watch all of it. Like I would see them featured, like in that race. You remember
the
that
Wacky Racers.
Yes,
Yeah, the Wacky
I would
Racers.
see them. I say, who's that?
Well, let me tell you this about Hanna-Barbera. They are my favorite cartoons. Like I love all the. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie. There were some that were absolutely terrible. Like a lot that were terrible. Anything that basically came out of the late '70s was terrible, and some of the early '80s stuff, terrible shows. But I have a nostalgic love for them. I mean, and I'll just show you this really quick. I don't know how bright my studio is for you, but that. As I come around, that is my pop. I have 4 shelves of Hanna-Barbera pop figures.
Oh wow!
Okay, so and the only reason why I have the Funko Pop figures is because they're very hard to find Hanna-Barbera merchandise. So I got a few things. Like I have. Let me show you this. I don't know if people. Johan.
Yes.
From the Smurfs.
Yes.
But if you know, he had his own series before the Smurfs. But when Peyo created the Smurfs, they became much popular. That's how he fell into their stuff.
It's kind of like Urkel and Family Matters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Hanna-Barbera and Looney Tunes are my go-to cartoons.
Man.
And
Looney Tunes.
I love Disney too, but old Disney.
Remember Gummy Bears?
Oh. Dashing and daring, courageous. Yeah, I know.
That theme song is so amazing to this day. I feel like I just want to sing it all day.
I'll be honest. I think that is one of the 2 best cartoon theme songs ever.
Don't tell me DuckTales?
No. I love DuckTales. I'm not going Disney Afternoon on this one. Just for the sound. Just for the sound. Because I never watched the show because I didn't like the show after seeing 1 episode. The original Pokemon theme song.
Pokemon?
I think the beat to that theme, the way it goes, is just a great theme song. But the show I didn't like. I wasn't into the show. But I think it had a great. But yeah, DuckTales was great. Tailspin, Goof Troop. I mean, the Disney Afternoon had the best theme songs. I mean, Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles. Even though that was just instrumental, actually they did have some words. Stone by Day. Was it Stone by Day, Warriors by Night? Betrayed by the humans they were sworn to protect.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I know like almost every theme song to everything I've ever watched.
You're like a walking cartoon jukebox.
Yeah. Kind of. I won't sing it though. Usually in public. It's usually just in the home to annoy my wife or in the shower.
Oh, and the shower's the best, man.
Yeah, that's where the best acoustics are, right?
Yeah. I can win Grammy Awards in the shower.
So tell us about. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
No, I was going to say, continuing on influences and what cartoons I watched. So as I got older, I remember looking at like those I call them the greats because they branched off and created their own company. But after looking at their stuff and seeing all this detail and at that age I wanted to draw just like them. So all my drawings had all these lines and lines that didn't even really need to be there.
Yeah, needless hatching.
Yeah, just for the sake of having a line there.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I was never I was never into that.
I mean, for me, it was like a little phase, but it lasted for a while. And then I started watching cartoons and seeing how simple they make their drawings. Like not watching them, but analyzing them. If
Yeah.
you know
I
what
know
I mean.
exactly what you're
Like, no longer am I like enjoying it. Now I'm like, wow, look how he drew that arm. Look how he moved this. So pretty much dissecting it and trying to apply it to my drawings.
Yeah.
And I remember the first cartoon that I fell in love with.
Okay.
Not so much the storyline, even though it was kind of fun, but the art style. It was Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, I
And I was
remember
like,
that one.
whoa. And this is one of the first times where I started looking at credits.
Hmm.
So I'm like, oh, who's this designer, character designer? And I'm looking, and I was like, oh, this is when the internet came out. I was like, oh, okay, let's see, who's this person? The Cheeks. I was like, Cheeks. Oh, that's an interesting name. Is that really his name? So I found Sean Galloway a
Yeah.
bunch of places. Like, it's like, you know how when you see something for the first time, and then every time after that, it's like you see it everywhere?
Yeah.
Like that. So then I started seeing his work. Everyone's like, how come I never saw his stuff?
Yeah, I know. I love his work. He's someone else I follow. I'd love to bring him on and chat one day.
He's I met him when I was in New York. I visited Artist Alley and he was there. And I knew he was there and I was like, I gotta go see him. I said, dude, I love your stuff. Pretty much not I want to be like you, but I admire your work and and he was like really down to earth.
Yeah.
So that kind of like made me feel like, oh man, this is cool. I can get into this. If people are like this, I can get into comics. Yeah. So he kind of gave me that. He didn't know it, but he gave me that little push to keep doing what I was doing.
That's great. There's a lot of great artists who inspire. I've told this story before, and I'm going to go tell it quick because we're already at like almost the 30-minute mark here.
Really?
Yeah, dude, we're having a lot of fun, and I know you said you kind of have that 1 hour, maybe a little extra, but not much.
Let's see.
But yeah, I'm just going to tell you this story real quick. I once, when in the 90s, there was an artist I was a big fan of, and I brought my work to a show. It was my first show, I think, maybe my second. I don't remember which was my first. It was one of two different shows, but I was the same age. I was 16. I brought the work. I'm like, oh, this guy, I love this comic. I read it every month. Mm-hmm. I won't say who it is, but he bashed my work. He told me I suck, that I should never work in the industry. Whoa. And I was like, wow.
So your idol pretty much broke.
Yeah, and I was like, and then I met this other guy, and and he was like, let me see your work. I said, nah, it's terrible or whatever. And then he said, no, listen, you're young, you need to work on a few things. I learned, and this is what he told me, is that this guy, they may see potential and they'll want to knock an artist that they see potential in because really? They don't want, because you will become
their competition
in the future. And I was like, that's kind of shitty, which I'm sorry for cursing on I don't usually curse like that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was so, but it was a different point of view in the way I looked at things. And I think one of the reasons the way I am as a teacher is because of that, is why I like to help share, let kids learn. And, whoever wants to learn art from me is, I don't think art should be hidden or secrets. Give the criticism. Be honest if somebody doesn't have what it takes, but try to build them up. And I'll tell you this, about 2 years ago. Now you got to remember, we're going back to 91, 92 for my first show.
So this was a full-on. This was a full-on show, like you were.
Yeah, it was a Comic-Con. I was at a Comic-Con. Okay. I didn't have a table or anything. I was just walking with my portfolio.
Oh, you're walking around with
Yeah, gotcha. My portfolio, right? I go to New York Comic-Con maybe 5 years ago at the most. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking with a friend of mine, and he introduces me to the artist who bashed me all those years ago. And he did not. I told him afterwards who this guy was, and I didn't let anything slip. But he's like, you got to check out. And he said to this artist, you got to check out Michael's work. He does this really great cartoony, silly type of art. And he looked at some of my work I had on me. He's like, oh my God, this is really amazing stuff. And he started following me on social media, and like he'll like my stuff, and I'll sit there and I'll look at him like, That is one of the funniest things. I
Wow.
just crack up laughing. And to this day, I've never told him that you were the
That,
guy that like tore me a new one when I was 16, trying to break my dreams, you know. And now you're like, dude, I love your work. I'm a fan of what you do.
I know that. Full 60, huh?
Yeah, dude.
360. I mean,
Yeah.
unbelievable, man. I
Yeah,
cannot, I never, if anybody comes to me asking me, hey,
yeah.
I never want to discourage anyone. You know, like you said, most of the artists that I've asked for advice, I remember one guy, he was kind of like, I was showing my portfolio.
Mhm.
And he had his own independent comic company that he was just starting up. And he showed me some of the stuff that people brought to him, and like next to mine, I was like, oh my god, my stuff sucks.
Yeah.
If this is the caliber of the stuff that you're getting, like I'm even afraid to show you my stuff. So he said, no, come on, let me see what you got, you know, and let's go over it. So I opened up my stuff, and he's looking through that. You got some pretty good line work. This was my Liefeld Jim Lee days, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got some pretty good line work. Oh man, this is good. And then he started telling me, this is great. I would, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Give me your number. If anything comes up, you know, we can set something up, or, you know, he kind of gave me a little bit of hope, but he also gave me some tips.
Yeah.
And that is what I took away from that conversation. And after that, I was like, damn, this dude is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't bashing my stuff. And I feel weird, honestly. I don't know how you feel going up to other artists and telling them, hey, you know, can you check out my work? And, you know, I don't know. It just feels awkward to me.
Well,
I feel like
these
I'm wasting
days,
their time.
to me, these days, I'm behind the table so much that when artists come up to the table, you know, they check it out, and I don't have an issue. I'll be like, hey, look, I'm at a table over there. When you get a chance, check out my work, you know. And I'll usually say that to people I'm, you know, either a big fan of or just, you know, I like their work. You know, I just discovered, like, I've never seen their work before. This is awesome. Check out what I do. And usually it's pretty good, but most of my fans are actually artists.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
the funny
like
thing.
new artists, or
No, they're like comic artists who've been in the industry for a long time. Like, they'll come up at a
really?
show and be like, you know, I love what you do. I love your style, because my style is very nostalgic. That's why I get hired for things. I could do a very nostalgic piece. I can imitate, you know, the Looney Tunes style, the Hanna-Barbera style, you know, UPA of the animation stuff, but like 60s comic, you know, like silly comics. Like I can do something that, you know, looks like it belongs in the New Yorker, but then do something that belongs somewhere else, you know. And it's just an imitation of styles I do constantly. But I mean, I have my own.
right.
But it's like, even my own style is kind of Hanna-Barbera meets Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So it's a very nostalgic piece, and everything I'm doing, like the artists that are looking that become fans are like, it's because it reminds them of the art that got them into art,
That they grew up with. Yeah.
So that's why I get a lot of more adults, even though my work is geared towards kids or family friendly, whatever term you want to use. Most of my fans are adults and other artists.
Do you draw a lot traditionally, or more digitally?
These days, it's more digitally, just because of the ability of what it does for me. But I will, like, with just taking my webcomic Dax Photon, I draw it mostly digital. But if I get stuck on a page, what I end up doing is I draw it on 8.5 by 11, scan it in, scale it up, and just ink it on digitally.
Okay.
So how about you? I was going to actually ask you that myself.
So when I'm doing projects, or this particular year, I took it upon myself to do JUNETOON digitally again. But when I'm doing projects or projects, comic book stuff, I usually do it digitally because it's faster.
Yeah.
It's cleaner, and just you're able to. I remember doing it on paper, and it just takes so much work to get what you want. Here, you can just do the Control Z,
Yeah.
and that's it. But I mean, there is a learning curve, and if you're not willing to sit there and try to
Yeah.
learn the
And
software,
the software, like I see you drawing in Clip Studio. I
yeah.
actually love Clip Studio. I have it. The reason I use Photoshop more than Clip Studio is I've been in Photoshop since 1995.
Mhm.
All right. This is second nature to me. Like I can literally I feel like I can do stuff with my eyes closed. That's how I feel. But I've actually.
It's cool that you recognize Clip Studio. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I have it, and I do really enjoy it. I actually think I did a whole children's book in Clip Studio.
With it.
Yeah, I haven't posted it yet, like published it. I'm just waiting to get paid on one or two of my jobs to get the money to do it. But it's called Oodles or Doodles, about a monkey named Doodles that likes to doodle.
Nice.
And it's like a pre-K to second grade early reader, rhyming book. It's a fun. Yeah. I think it's a fun book.
Say that 3 times.
Yeah. But anyway, you know what, dude? Enough about me. This is about you. We got like 30 minutes left. I really want to hear, and we're going to talk more and more about JUNETOON in a moment, but I really want to hear about some of this work that you've done. Tell me about these comics that you've worked on. Tell us a little bit about I Hate My Kids, the show, Fleischer, all those things.
Okay, so this is I Hate My Kids, and I met Tony at a con, dropped off some of my work, and he is an independent writer. He's worked on Simpsons comics, and I'm not sure if it's a TV as well, but he's done a lot of work for the Simpsons. So he's pretty funny. So most of the skits here in this strip are, not most, all of them he writes. Okay. So I just follow along and create these characters. Sometimes he'll give me a new character, and I'm like, I'll go into my memory and try to figure out who have I met that has these qualities. Like, oh, let me draw this nose from this person. So I get a lot of inspiration from real people when I draw these characters, especially when I don't have anything to go on. But so that's Tony, and he has the Webcomic Factory, which houses, I'm gonna say, over 25, maybe more comic strips that he does every single day. There's a different one. So mine just happens to fall on Wednesday. Those are my designated days. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing that with him since I was in New York. So I've been here in California for 12 years, I think.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Something like that. Yeah, so he kind of, working with him kind of set me up to meet other independent writers, and that's how the guy from Fleischer, which his name is, he's gonna kill me probably. Ed Gross.
Gross, yeah.
Gross, yes.
I remember reading that name.
So Fleischer, I worked on 3 issues for him, and like a prequel kind of to another issue, and I did some character designs for him, and he hit me back up. He wants to work on another project, and I'm like, sure, I'll just need to finish this and this. I enjoyed working with him, so I'm looking forward to doing it again. So Fleischer is kind of like a spoof of Superman, and I think Fleischer was the studio that held the rights to Superman back in the day. Okay, so the characters, he's like dumb, but he's supposed to be like Superman, and he has this band of superhero friends that are all based on the golden age of comics, I think. So a lot of those heroes don't have licensors. Yeah. So you can kind of use them however. So he's done that with that book. Mm-hmm. And the show was the one that I was telling you about that me and my buddies, it's mostly based on some of the characters and heroes that we created when we were little. Okay. This JUNETOON bit, and did I miss something as far as the comics? Oh, I do have my own little comic strip that I kind of spun off. It started off as therapy for losing my job and kind of venting. but it turned into something else, and you know, people have been asking me when you're going to bring it back, and so I'm working on trying to get some strips for that by the end of this year.
Okay, cool.
Let me see what else. I working on JUNETOON this month, so that's going to keep me busy. I do commissions as well. Right now it's a little tight because of the workload, so my commissions are not open, but I do them. And I'm also working on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And
So what do you do on your YouTube channel?
On the YouTube channel right now, I just kind of draw and explain like what's going on in my mind when I'm thinking of these characters, or kind of describing the characters themselves. It's not so much a how to draw this. It's more like, look, this is how I do it.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, I don't see myself as a teacher. I mean, I probably could, but it's when I'm drawing it, I just want to zone out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I know exactly. Yeah.
And then also JUNETOON. Me and my buddies that I met here at, I think it wasn't a con, it was more like an event for a comic book store. And I met them here, and we started doing cons together. Great guys. And so we decided to, we always jumped on the bandwagon of, we did Movember, which is like a draw beards, characters with beards all month. Like we've done a lot of these challenges, art challenges. And when they were like, hey, why don't we create our own? Man? We like cartoons. We all draw cartoons. Let's just do it. So we did. And it's been, I'm not going to say blowing up, but a lot of people have been like gravitating towards it, and it's
I
fun.
think it's a great idea. I honestly, I think it's a great idea, not just because I'm a cartoon geek. I prefer cartoons to. It's funny. I'm like a comic strip over comic book, but if I had my choice, I'd rather look at animation. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's fun. So let me ask you, who is your all-time favorite cartoon like animated cartoon character? Do you have one?
Animated cartoon character.
Yeah.
I know when I was little, my mom used to tell me, and I remember this clearly too, that I used to obsess over the Pink Panther.
Okay. Two of my nephews actually really love the Pink Panther, and I liked stuff. When I was a kid, I didn't appreciate it. I appreciated it as I got older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was one of those people. It's like, this is boring. There's no words, and I didn't get the idea of pantomime at the time. You know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like when I was like, by the time I hit like teenager, I'm like, oh, these are brilliant. You know, that's kind of how I looked at it.
You see it differently. Kind of like when I was telling you that as I'm watching I started watching cartoons, and instead of watching it and enjoying it, I'm like dissecting them. Like, wow, look at that! Look how they did that.
Yeah.
So, but if I were to answer that question, I'm gonna have to go with the Looney Tunes. Those were by far
the Looney
my
Tunes favorite. Yeah. I can see that. They are the best.
I mean, I still watch it with my little one. We have HBO Max.
Yep.
And so apparently we found like I found a whole bunch of them, new ones, old ones. I was like, oh, we are so watching this. Oh, he loves them. Daffy. I didn't realize how like funny Daffy is.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting. Honestly, I haven't seen all the new ones yet. I've only watched like two or three episodes. So I got.
There's like three. There are three versions or three different series.
Yeah.
You were gonna say?
No, I wasn't saying anything. I just said I was listening.
No, but I really enjoy watching that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You don't want to think or anything like that. Your mind is like, okay, that's it. I quit. I'll sit down and watch that and just giggle at the silliness and just, wow, I used to watch this.
Yeah. And I'll sit and I'll do the same thing with like the really older versions of them.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, wow. Sometimes I'll look at it and be like, this is great. Other times I'll look at it as like, what was I thinking like in this as a kid? But like, you know, I'm watching like the old Porky stuff, and they're a lot funnier than I remember.
Yeah.
Like just the solo black and white Porkies.
I think it's because we understand the humor a little more. Back then, we're just kids, you entertain. Yeah, oh, it's funny, huh?
Yeah. Like I love there's that one of my favorites is Porky, and it's Sylvester when they're in like the haunted house and the mice are like trying to kill.
the scaredy cat one.
Yeah, I can't remember is that the title of it? I can't remember the exact title, but oh my god, that one just cracks me up.
I think it's scaredy cat.
Yeah. I don't remember, but yeah, no, I love all that stuff. So,
or like
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say when Tweety turns into that weird monster because he drinks that thing.
Oh yeah,
it's Sylvester. It's like, come here, I got you now. He's holding his hand and it changes right there. Yeah. So you were saying?
No. I was just saying because I'm just watching the time. It's about we're at 45 minutes in, and excuse me. Normally I don't watch the time, but I know when my guests tell me they should kind of only be able to do a certain amount, I like to keep them at that time and not have them go over. But so anyway, tell us about some. What was the one? It's called The Group, I believe. What's that?
So Flesher and The Group is one comic, and it's kind of like a continuation of Flesher.
It's Fleischer.
Fleischer, yeah. So it's a continuation of that book because the Ed Gross he wrote that book, but I think they wanted to do like a little spin-off where it was more like a team and not a solo thing. So I did that. It's the same book, so it's Flesher and The Group. And he just has a team of call them weirdos because they're all over the place. Mm-hmm. They're not really a team. They're kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but on crack. Okay. But you know, the stuff is really funny. So as I'm drawing this stuff, I'm like, oh my god, this is hilarious. And you know, you get ideas for your own stuff.
But that also makes you draw better too. When you're laughing at what you're doing because it's fun for you.
Yeah.
You're going to put more and more into it and make it even a better. So that comic, not that I've ever seen it yet, I'm going to love to look for a copy of it, but that comic has to be a very well-drawn comic then, in my opinion, because when somebody loves what they do, their best work comes out.
I was the penciler on it, and I remember the first book that I drew for him. I did the whole thing. I did the pencils, I did the inks and the colors. I could one all out. Mm-hmm. But then he wanted a little faster, and I was like, well, from using the logic and looking at how long it takes me to do one book, I don't think I can do that. But he really wanted to work with me, so he kind of said, okay, what about if you do the pencils? And I was like, okay, I can do that. I have not seen the completed inks.
Okay.
But I would love to.
I'm sure they look great. I'm sure they look great. You know, so let's get back onto JUNETOON a little bit here. So you were saying that you and a couple of friends got together and said, hey, let's do our own little drawing contest. We created JUNETOON.
Well, it was mostly for us. It wasn't like a contest or anything. We just did it to kind of have something to do for June. And if people wanted to join, they could. And it just turned into like what it is right now, which is it's growing.
Yeah. And what year are you in, if you don't mind me asking, of June?
I'll tell you right now, and I'll put it on the website.
Yeah.
I think it's either 3 or 4. Let me see.
Wow.
No, I think it's third.
Third year, which makes sense because I've known about it for 2 years, but I've never really participated.
No, I'm lying. This is the 4th.
Oh, it is the 4th. Okay.
So we started in 2018. I left the prompts up there.
Well, you know what? It's interesting to that you say that too, because I discovered it in 2019. I think I did 1, maybe 2 pieces, for it. But that's when I discovered it, which to me means in 1 year, from going to 2018 to 2019, it's moving, it's reaching. People really like this.
Yeah, well, people love cartoons. I'm telling you.
I know. I know.
Like me and myself included, it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know what others find enjoyable in it, but as an adult, like I watch anime. I watch anything animated. Put
Yeah.
it that way. I'll read comics, children's book.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I wasn't gonna say much.
No. Finish your thought. I don't mind.
It wasn't anything. Trust me.
Okay.
That tree is really far.
So what? So actually, this is going to be a question from Joe Ryan from in here. He says, "What are some of your favorite art books on character design, cartooning, concept? As a fellow creator, I'd love to know." And that's a good question. I honestly, Joe, I didn't even think of that question. So thank you for asking.
So favorite art books.
Yeah.
One of my favorite art books, and I don't know them by name, but I did. Let me hold on a second. Give me one second. So this book I love because of
Hold on,
its
I'm going to give you the
simplicity.
full screen. Let me give you the full screen on this one so we can see it. Okay, go. Oh, cutting edge and
This particular one, because I've tried different ones, and this one for some reason stood out. And this is the part right here. This.
Okay, is that a Christopher art book or is that an Impact? Who's the writer?
The publisher, the author.
Well, not. Yeah,
Christopher
who's the author?
Hart. Christopher Hart.
Christopher Hart, good guy. I had him on the show once.
Oh, you did? Oh, man. Yeah. Let me tell you.
Everything's up on YouTube. You can check it out.
This is an amazing book. I look through it every so often just to kind of see if but I love the simplicity of the shapes that the way he draws the anatomy. Like these shapes that he uses, that he's not drawing all these little fiber lines and all this. Like this is how I see the world. Yeah. And so I love there's a bunch of other stuff that it teaches you. And it's more, this is my favorite book to look at. I have a few other that I'm not too fond of, but this is my favorite one to look at when I need to refresh on any skills.
I got a bunch of his books because I use them when I teach a lot. Okay. I think they're very easy. Like when I'm working with real little kids, I'll put it under like the document camera and they can look at the pages and whatnot. But I was just cleaning off my bookshelf the other day to like organize it, and I'll give you. And here, this is an old one, but I found this book by Chris Hart, How to Draw Cartoon Animals. So it's just behind me right now, but
I've seen that at Michael's. I always wanted to pick it up.
I will say this right now. That book is currently out of print. He told us on air that book and the first one, which I know I have a copy of as well somewhere on another bookshelf, which I think was, I don't know. Let me see if I can.
So then it must have been something else I seen, but that looks really familiar.
Yeah, no, that is. I mean, they only got out of print this year, so it's like whatever's out.
Oh, okay, whatever's left. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever's left. Let's see. I don't know where it is.
I didn't know it was the same guy because I just looked at the art. Like things.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where it is at the moment, but yeah. Anyway, let me. So we're. Joe Ryan says great stylized anatomy. So. Yes. I think that is. I think the Chris Hart books are really good. When I had Chris Hart on, he did say one of the things. Oh, I forgot to color one thing here. He did say that he feels he's much more character designer than anything. So so for him, creating this stuff is just fantastic. Like he loves to create characters and draw different animals and people, and so for him, all his books really help people, I think, character wise.
Yeah, like the shapes, just the shapes alone. I mean, you can come up with ideas from the shapes he uses to form the figure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell he thinks of character design more than anything. But still, man, his stuff is nice. Like, I really love that book. That book that I showed you. If I recommend the book for anyone who wants to refresh their skills, I would definitely recommend that. If you're into that cartoony style, like you just said.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, listen, his stuff is great. I think people should be looking at his books more. I'm just cropping right now. And I'm going to get a background color. I'm not going to have time to add, just because of time on the air, I'm not going to have time to add what's it called? Shading.
Oh, okay.
But
what do you have? Were you doing funny? Or were you doing
funny was my topic, and I went with one of my favorite cartoon characters of all time. So let me just remove yours, and I will add mine in share screen window, and let me just zoom in a bit. What's wrong with the zoom? Okay, and share. And we got Krusty the Clown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drew the Simpsons the other day, and I was like, I wonder if this is gonna come out. The Simpsons are really too cartoony for me to draw. I can't get them right.
Oh, really? Well, first of all, let's just say I just want to go to Joe Ryan's comment. He says, I have some of his books, but I don't have that one. That one looks awesome. One of my favorite books is Character Mentor by Tom Frankoff.
I think I have that one too.
Yeah, I have that as well as his other one. What's the other character one? Character Mentor, and I can't read it. I have a fan blocking it, but it's cartoon. I think it's called Creating Characters with Personality. I think.
Oh no, maybe.
Yeah.
I mistook the name. It's not Tom Bancroft, but I have seen his stuff.
Yeah.
I got myself this one though, just so I can draw people's faces.
Let me give you the full layout. Yeah. Oh, I need to get that. Caricature is the one thing that I've always wanted. Yeah. I do what I call cartoonatures. I can cartoon a person, but I have trouble. I have trouble caricaturing. And I've talked to caricaturists. I have friends who are amazing characters. They give me tips all the time. And in my head, I don't think I could see what they're talking about. But at the same time, though, a lot of them can't do what I do cartooning wise.
Right.
So we all have our strengths.
One of the reasons I got that is because
hold on.
Again, because I'm from the old school, the 80s comics and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing a lot of the characters, the particular way an artist draws, he's always repeating the same face. And I could, because I'm an artist, I can tell, it's like, oh, I don't like that. That's the same dude, just different hair.
Yeah, so I always wanted. Toth did that a lot.
I'm sorry?
Alex Toth did that a lot. He was the guy who developed the Hanna-Barbera superheroes like Space Ghost and
yes. So it's like they just grabbed that guy, like the He-Man stuff. It's the same body. They never really like stood out from each other as far as shape. Maybe this guy's maybe this guy looks like this. So I bought that specifically so that I can kind of morph and give characters different facial features other than the same generic face. It's just different hair and So that's why I bought that, and so far it's helping, I think.
Oh, that's great. And you were saying, I just wanted to ask you one question, because I think I cut you off or we sidetracked for a moment. But you were saying you can't draw like the Simpsons; they're too cartoony for you.
So with Maggie, and I think because I've been doing comics mostly, with Maggie, it's not that I can't, but I struggle to like super simplify the shapes. And this is again another reason why I like doing these comic strip, because of that, because I can like go to the cartoony side and then come back to the comic book side, if that makes sense.
No,
so
it does.
I love doing this because it kind of loosens me up for the other stuff too, you know.
And I have to say, I've been watching you while I've been drawing. I've been watching you draw, and I love your style that you're working in. The line work is so damn clean, you know.
Really?
Which is you know, it's very comic strip clean, which I like. You know, almost animation clean, and I
have
love
a lot of those influences. Like I do feel that because I watch a lot of cartoons, especially my little one. He's watching this cartoon, I think the Loud Family or something like that.
Yep, I have a friend who works on the comic.
Oh my God, I love the line work in that cartoon. I keep staring at it and I ask him, Levi, what are you watching? It's like, this is cool. I like this. I love those lines. So I'm always looking for line. And I used to use Photoshop. I had to teach myself how to use this. The transition took about 6 months, but I finally shifted over. Again, you know, when you don't have 600 or however it costs the whole, you know, Photoshop thing, you gotta, this is a lot cheaper for sure.
Yeah, no, and Joe Ryan just says, very clean line. I love your line work.
Thank you. And I want to say hi. I saw a comment earlier from VR.
Oh, did I miss something?
All the way at the top. I don't know. He just said hi. That's all. I just wanted to say hi back.
Oh, I made sure to put them all up here. Hi, and
Mad About Caricature.
Yeah, Mad About Caricature. That's that. Yeah, that's the one book. That's the Tom.
Oh, that the other one. Oh, okay, got it. I thought he was asking about this one.
No. The Mad About Caricature. That's what's his name?
Oh, that's Tom Bancroft.
No, not Tom Bancroft. Why am I blanking on his name? Who's the author on? I feel terrible right now. What's the author's name?
On the one that I just showed you.
Yeah, the Mad about Caricature.
Tom Richmond.
Tom Richmond. Yeah, I was blanking on his name. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So we've hit our 1 hour mark. I don't want to keep.
I haven't gotten it. No, we're good. Let's say another 15. We're good.
Listen, hey, I can stay for another 15. I'm totally cool with that.
I know. You're like Captain America. You could do this all day, right?
Exactly. Although I know I can't. I got to say, my Friday show, by the time that was over, I was ready to pass out. I've never gone 3.5 hours before live. My throat was dry.
Oh, from talking, right?
Yeah. And laughing a lot, too.
Gotcha.
That was a fun show.
I'll check it out when
you have nothing to do for 3.5
hours. I can pause it. You know,
No, you can, dude. It's fun. That one, like I said, was just really me, catching up with some old friends that have been on the show, and where are they now, type of thing. And actually, Joe Ryan was on that as well. He was he's been watching from the beginning, and thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And he said Tom Richmond. I'll have to look for that one. Thanks. Yeah. Mad About Caricatures. There's a couple of caricatures out there, but if you want to learn, like, there's two that I recommend, and what everyone's told me, and I can't remember the other one, but the Tom Richmond Mad About Caricatures is supposed to be the all-time best how to draw caricature books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that. I had no idea.
Yeah, from what people have told me, because I suck at caricaturing. The only person I can kind of caricature is me. And now let me ask you: when you're drawing here in Clip Studio, are you drawing these as vector lines and then coloring them in as bitmap?
No. For this particular comic, I just do the regular raster. I
Okay.
don't do vector unless it's gonna be a poster or something big,
Okay.
and I'll do vector lines. So this is everything. Each layer here is just raster. So
Okay.
and plus, it makes it really big. The files.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
hold on a second.
Why? Because I did my whole children's book in raster. No, I colored it in raster, but did them in vector.
In vector.
And yeah, it was a large file. You're right, but vector should be smaller. I don't know why. Let me see if I have it on here. I'll show you a small little section of it.
Okay.
Let's see. This looks like. Let me see. What is this? I'm opening it up. Do I have the cover? This is the one missing the cover. So let's find one. This has the watermark on it. So yeah, I'll go through this one. Let me stop the share, or just share this one real quick here. Share screen. So you guys at home, I haven't really shown this before. You might have seen it, but this is my Oodles of Doodles book.
I saw
right
this.
Here. That's on my website, on the cover of my website.
Uh-huh.
And as you go down, that's the dedication page and the oodles. So I'll just show you a few pages. It says, I made oodles of doodles today. Oodles of doodles, you say? I doodled all day from morning till night. Doodling lets my imagination take flight. And this is the secret. This is not the secret, but this is what I like about the book. So he's the only clean looking thing, and everything else is like him drawing. So I doodled a car. I doodled a truck. I doodled a pie. I doodled a duck. I doodled a rock. I doodled a bear. I doodled a boat. And a day at the fair. And that's all I'll show you.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's nice. I like it.
Thank you. I thought, this will be out very, very soon. But that is the closest to the most live I've ever given as a demo of this here. And I'm really excited to share. And that is only the first, 7 pages, I think, or something like that. And it's the rhyming scheme goes like that for another 2 or 3 sections. So it just goes on. So he's doodling and he's living in these worlds of doodles. But yeah, so anyway, it was Joe Ryan. Oops, hold on. I meant to not. I hit something. He says, "Love the cartoony look of this book. Looks like
it does look like
fun little ones."
When you were reading that, I swear to you, it felt like when I read to the little one. Because I got him a few Dr. Seuss books that I grew up with.
Yeah, I love those.
What is it? Horton Hatches the Egg. Oh, I love that.
Is it Horton Hatches the Egg, or is that Horton Hears a Who where he hatches the egg?
Well, no. Horton Hatches the Egg is different. He sits on an egg because the bird gets all lazy. She's like, "Can you sit on here and I'll be back?"
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I love that one. So I would read it to him all the time.
Yeah. That's great.
It reminds me of me reading to him.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I'm a Lorax fan myself for Dr. Seuss.
But yeah, we watched that.
Yeah, but it's I've read the book to kids working with them, and what I love about it's a whole story just about the polluting the earth and kind of being greedy, and the young kids don't get that, but when you read it as an adult, you're just like, wow, this is really cool,
Yeah.
Nice message, So
it's important to have a message when you.
Yeah, I agree when you're doing that. So I'm gonna let you go in a moment, but before I do, is there anything we haven't chatted about that you'd like to talk about?
I'm trying to think. See, covered that. Honestly, I'm blank.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's been a long day for you.
It's been a long day trying to make sure everything was working.
Yeah, I get you.
Make sure I did everything that I needed to do so I can have the time to be focused on this.
Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, just if anybody wants to check my stuff, my website is on my Instagram account. Just click on the link and feel free to,
everyone.
surf.
Yeah. participate in JUNETOON. Hashtag JUNETOON. Hashtag
Please do,
JUNETOON 2021. I'm going to try to get in this. I'll probably post this if I can today or tomorrow, even though I might be a day late for funny. But I love Krusty the Clown. I can watch The Simpsons all day long, and they're one of my all-time favorite inspirations. I'm still
Disney,
probably one of the...
Do you have Disney Plus?
I'm on
sure
Disney Plus, yeah.
Well, there you go. So you can watch Simpsons all day.
I do. I was just watching it on regular TV before we went on. It's like on FX or something, flipping through the channels or whatever. And it was
anywhere it plays, you'll stop.
I'm dead serious. I'm one of the few people who still watch The Simpsons regularly when they're on TV. Yeah. You know, I'm such a fan that way. So Joe Ryan says he's definitely participating in JUNETOON. Also,
excellent.
check out his Instagram page, How Artists, for the JUNETOON prompts if you want to use them. Otherwise, just draw a cartoon character that makes you happy and hashtag it with the JUNETOON and JUNETOON 2021.
And there you go. And because of, if you participate, I mean, you live in the United States, you automatically are entered. Well, not automatically. You have to follow a few rules.
Okay.
Check those rules out. It's you just got to follow a few of the accounts and make sure you participate and use the hashtags, and then you're entered. And you live in the U.S. And if you win, we'll pick a winner actually on Monday next week. We already picked one yesterday, and he got the first set of prizes. So there, I just put up a new set of prizes for this week. So that's what.
I'll have to check them out.
Anybody who participates in them, I mean, you can get it too. So, make sure you get in there. And they've been thoughtful enough to do that for us. They even take care of the shipping, so we don't have to do anything.
Awesome.
But I hope everybody joins, everybody has fun, and just love cartoons the way I do.
Yeah. Well, I definitely do. And I want to say, because I know if you had more time, we could probably go 2-3 hours easy. I think I'm having a great time chatting with you here.
Oh, well, we can definitely do this again. I'll see what I can do on Tuesday. Cause
I will see. I'm always trying to plan something further out, and maybe I'll have some free time. Bring on a bunch of people, kind of like I did last week for my anniversary, and just kind of talk. We could do live draws. We could BS about a topic. We could be like, today we're going to talk about Thundercats and do an hour of Thundercats.
Oh, yeah.
So like we could do something. But I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for creating this art challenge to help people just find the time to draw things they love.
Well, I didn't do it alone, but I'll let the guys know.
Yeah, and next time let's bring them all on, and we could all draw together.
That's right. Well, we've done that before, and it would be nice to do it with you guys.
Yeah, I would totally have a blast with that. I love drawing. I love drawing with other people. This seems to be these days the only way to do it. So, can you do me a favor? Just quickly zoom out of your comic so I can see how much what it looks like before I let you guys. Oh, very nice. I'm looking at them. Very nice stuff here. I love the colors.
Thank you.
I love the hearts now. I'm good with that because I'm colorblind. Bright works for me. But let me ask you now. I don't know if it's because it's zoomed out, but do the hearts have a shadow underneath it to make them pop, or is that just the way it looks?
No, no shadow. It just looks like that.
It just looks like that because of
the background.
Yeah, the background. Okay.
Yeah, that gray that I use, because sometimes I'll miss a white spot. So, if I'm coloring like that.
Listen, I'll show you something. I'll show you something right now. Let me bring back. Let me stop share.
Everybody, you want to say hi?
All right.
We left. Never mind.
Okay, I'll show you this real quick. Let me get to my coloring here. So, if I remove the background, I got my gray on for the same reason. I just do a lighter gray. So. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know how many times I'll submit stuff like this, and then I'll notice. I'm like, oh my god, he looks like his eye looks crazy.
I'm just noticing right now. I didn't label the colors, but if I could find the eye, I missed a few spots, so I'll do it on
Can,
whatever layer I'm on.
can you like click control and click on that thing and see if it sends you to that layer? Because I know I used to do that in it.
Control. That's for the brushes. Is it? Oh, I'm on a Mac. Maybe it's Command.
Yeah, Command.
Or Command. No.
Command click. No.
Command Control. There it goes.
No.
It's Command Control on a Mac. Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know which one is layer 16. So layer 16. I don't know what the hell that is. Control Command click. Layer 10. Those are the eyes.
I am a layer destroyer, so I have to label mine. Otherwise, I'd be doing what you're doing. Like what?
You know, I normally am. I am a normally. I label usually everything. I'm very organized, but because I was just having fun tonight, I wasn't paying attention. Believe me, I've done projects where I've had like. I don't know what the layer size is now because I haven't gone this high, but I've done things where I've hit like 99 layers back in the 90s, and you couldn't go higher than 99, so you had to compress them all into one.
Oh my God.
So like you save one file, you duplicate the file, and then you compress everything on the duplicate file, and then now the background is layer 1, and then after layer 1, now it's the background layer. Then you come up layer 1, start things you've done. So it's.
What has it happened where you flatten your stuff?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Without wanting to, and you're like, you can't get it back.
Yes, I learned. Okay, I did curse once here. I'm usually not the type of person who curses on the air, but off camera, you would think I was on the seas for 3 years, like away from human civilization, and it was terrible. It's terrible when those things happen. It's like you just, you're sitting here looking at your Cintiq, and it's like, okay, this is a very expensive piece of equipment, but it's about to go out the damn window, and it's like,
Oh, I see. I have no hair because of that.
I'm the same, man.
I've done so many that I'm like, I have to redraw all that again.
I once stayed up and I did a project till 3 a.m. I'm like, okay, it's done. And this was an After Effects project I had to turn into a client. I was so exhausted. I passed out. I got up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Right? I didn't even have 3 full hours of sleep. I got up at 6 to go to my day job. I went to my computer to get ready to send out. I decided I'm going to watch the file one more time. The file messed up so bad. I don't know what the hell happened, but luckily the client is not in America and they're overseas, and the time difference when they wanted it by, I still had time. So I called out to my day job, and I sat there for 4 hours rebuilding something that took me 12 hours the day before. I was just like, what the heck, But the 12 hours the day before was the final work that I spent 3 weeks before working. So it was like a lot. So I was able to get to one point. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I just worked fast. I'm like, nobody talked to me. Just I did what I had to do. It worked.
It's stressful.
I got it in on time.
I've done a few stuff like that for storyboards.
Yeah.
And I just want to shoot myself. I'm like, damn, you try to maximize the time you have by copying and pasting or using the same template over, my God, you really got to slow down. Oh, man. But I want to say thank you for having me today. And
anytime,
man. We can do this again.
I'd love to have you on again. Bring your friends who created this. And I mean, even if it's not June, we'll tune June. We'll June anytime. I'm happy to do that. All right, I'm gonna drop you backstage. Before I even do that, I want to show your thing one more time. So remove mine. My comic doesn't. My cartoon didn't. I didn't even realize it was up. Yeah, you guys, it's your art that we're here to celebrate today. So you guys, check that out.
Sharing. Thank you.
And one more quick question before I let you go.
Yes.
Where can they find I Hate My Kids?
So I Hate My Kids lives on the webcomicfactory.com.
Webcomicfactory.com. All right.
Webcomic Factory.
Okay, you guys check out the webcomicfactory.com. This will be up tomorrow, the completed with the words and everything. So no spoilers tonight except these awesome pieces of art here. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to drop you in the green room. If you have to go, I understand. If you want to hang out for a few, feel free to. I'm just going to do my closing, all right? All right. Thanks again for coming on. All right. All right. So a lot of fun tonight. A little shorter than normal. I know we usually go a lot longer, and it's supposed to be an hour show, but we just go until we go. You know, that's what this is about. Let's have fun. Joe Ryan says, awesome show, guys. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for always watching. You know, but I want to thank Harold for coming on. I love his work. I love this idea of JUNETOON that he co-created. Go check out his Instagram. Follow him at HorrorArtist, and hashtag any stuff that you do this month with JUNETOON while you're participating in it. And remember, you don't have to do the prompts, but if you want to, you can. It's hashtag JUNETOON with TOON, just like Get in Tune the show, and hashtag it with JUNETOON 2021, so we know what year you guys did it. You guys, thanks again. I will have another guest next week. Oh wait, no, it's next week. Hold on, let me get the date here. I'm bad with dates. Oh, yes, I am. June 15th. I will not be on. That is my wife's birthday, so I'm taking the night off so I can spend the day with her. But here's a little fun surprise for you guys. Next Thursday, June 17th, I will be returning to Credit Chat, the show that I started on before branching off into here. I will be guest hosting. I have a really great show planned. I will be check out for the ads this weekend. I'm going to put one together. I'm just finalizing one more guest, but we're going to have a really fun show next Thursday, June 17th on Credit Chat. And then I'll be back the following week on Get in Tune on Get in Tune Tuesday here. All right. So you guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Remember, follow him at HorrorArtist, hashtag JUNETOON, hashtag JUNETOON 2021. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, great week, and I'll see you soon. All right. Bye, guys.